What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Yep, it is snowing pretty good right now, but we're out here anyway because today we have another body armor video for you guys, and this one is gonna be sweet. Today we are testing hard body armor versus soft body armor on a human torso to compare the results and see what the difference is in the protection they provide. Good grief, it is snowing hard. So when I got this video idea, the first thing I did was reach out to my friends at Premier Body Armor, and they said, we have exactly what you need. And what they sent me is the discreet plate carrier. So Premier Body Armor is on some John Wick stuff with some of these products. So this was actually developed for the Secret Service, so they could have a plate carrier that holds body armor securely, but be discreet enough to hide it under a suit jacket or something like that. And to be honest, you could probably hide this under just about anything. It's a fraction of the price of a normal plate carrier, fraction of the weight, and about as thin as it could possibly be, and still hold body armor. It's literally the thinnest and lightest weight plate carrier I have ever seen. The front and back are entirely Velcro. They also have a separate kit you can buy and put medical supplies or whatever you want in it. Of course, Velcro straps on the shoulders and on the bottom, and then there are 3 magazine pouches on each side. So 6 rifle mags total. Again, very minimalist and lightweight, so you can keep your skills on point while conducting high-level operations or LARPing in your mom's basement. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description box below so you can go check these out for yourself along with all their other cool products. And we're gonna put a hard plate in one side, a soft plate in the other, light this thing up and see what the difference is in damage to the human body. All right, this is the body armor we're using. We have the Premier Level 3A soft panel, which is rated to stop handguns up to a .44 Magnum, and the Premier Level 3 hard plate, which is rated for rifles up to a .30-06 AP. They also have a Level 4 plate, which we've tested on the channel, and it's even more bulletproof. It's legitimately mind-blowing how bulletproof these hard plates are. Now, of course, there are pros and cons to both of these, which is exactly why I wanted to do this video. So soft body armor is usually a lot lighter weight and more comfortable to wear, very thin, and it just wraps around the body and fits you better. It also, at least in my experience, can take a ton of bullet impacts. Because it flexes so much, it does hold up very well. But that's also the same reason I'm assuming it's gonna do more internal damage to the body, because the body is what's taking the majority of that impact. Hard body armor, on the other hand, is usually quite a bit bulkier and heavier. You can see how much thicker that plate is, and the main advantage to this is that it can obviously stop high-powered rifles and the other one can't. But what I want to test is prevention of internal damage. Because this is a hard plate, I would assume that it will absorb that bullet impact far better than something like a 3A vest or a soft body armor panel, and ultimately cause less internal damage to the body. I could be wrong, but that is what we're gonna find out today. And here is our human torso from Ballistic Dummy Lab. It is a brand new one, never been touched, and he's got a little bit of a lean going, but you guys know I love using these torsos for body armor tests because they have bones, organs, everything you would find in a real human body, so we can see what the internal damage is, even if the armor stops the bullet. All right, our human torso is now wearing the discreet plate carrier, and I gotta say, it looks pretty good on him. So we have a hard plate in the front, a soft plate in the back. We're gonna start with the backside first and see how the soft armor does, then we'll rotate him and shoot the hard plate. All right, we're starting with the soft body armor on the backside, and first up, we have the 9mm. Glock 19. And I don't want to go up there and take that vest off after every shot, so we'll go ahead and do the 40 Smith & Wesson while we're at it. Glock 23. .45 ACP. This is all ball ammo, by the way. We'll go check it out after this one. Like I said, we've got a lot of calibers to try, and I don't want to come up here and take this vest off in between every single shot. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hopefully you guys can see these. I know exactly where all of them went. That is 9mm number 1, 9mm number 2, 40 Smith & Wesson, and 45 ACP right on that Velcro strap. I'm trying to put them all kind of near the spine because that is the bone that's closest to the surface. So hopefully I didn't mess the strap up. Looks like we're good. Let's see if there's any internal damage. And there is not. So obviously some, little surface marks from where that body armor smashed into the ballistics gel, but definitely no broken bones and nothing sunk into the torso. On the back of the plate carrier, you can see it did tear a little bit, so it probably wouldn't feel good, but I think he's doing all right. All right, guys, while we let the snow settle down for a little bit, I want to take a minute to thank Scheels for sponsoring today's video. Scheels is a place that I've shopped at for quite a while, so I was very excited to actually partner up with them. It's literally like a one-stop shop for almost everything: sports, outdoors, clothing, exercise equipment, everything that interests me, they have. And I assume a lot of you guys share those interests. So if you go to their website, I'm almost positive you're gonna find something you want. They have all the premium brands, so everything is high quality and well worth the price, and their sales associates are required to be trained experts. So if you need help picking something out or pointed in the right direction, they can definitely help you there. And probably my favorite part about this company is their price match guarantee, meaning if you find the same product in another store for a lower price, they will match that price with no questions asked. I will put a link down in the description box below. Definitely go check them out. I guarantee if you're anything like me or have any of the same interests, you're gonna find a lot of stuff that you like. And again, a big thank you to Scheels for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the support. Let's step it up to the 10mm. This is where we really start pushing 3A body armor. Shooting it out of the Glock 20. I hate shooting pistols with these big old gloves on. Whether it did any internal damage or not, I can tell you right now, you would not want to take 2 of those to a soft body armor panel. That would suck. All right, 10mm. It looks like we had 1 go there and then 1 right above our 45 ACP. Probably hard for you guys to see on camera, but it definitely messed up the ballistics gel. It didn't really tear it, but just left a big old mark right in the middle of his back. No broken bones, but that would be a massive bruise. All right, let's go ahead and try the 44 Magnum. This is the biggest bullet that 3A body armor is rated to stop. And we could use a revolver, but why do that when we have a mare's leg? I actually think I missed again. Well, that's ironic, but to be fair to myself, I do remember that this mare's leg goes like 6 inches high, so I'll try it again. Let's go ahead and give him a couple more. Well, I do kind of have to defend myself on that one because I was trying to put the 44 Magnum on the top half of the body armor since all the others have been on the bottom. And then it went like 3 inches to the right and I totally missed. But hopefully you guys know I'm not that bad of a shot. All right, I went ahead and brightened this up so you guys can hopefully see, but right where those 44 Magnums hit, that spine is definitely caved in and it looks like there might even be some internal bone breaks. It's kind of hard to see through the ballistics gel, but it's definitely damaged, and that does not really surprise me considering how deep those bullets went, even though the body armor stopped them. And on the back of our 3A body armor, you can see how much damage those 44 Magnums did to that thing, and from the side, you can really get an idea of how painful that would be because your body is going to take every bit of that impact. Over here is where our 44 Magnum blew straight through the shoulder, which looks absolutely awesome, but again, it did completely miss the body armor, and then it looks like it just barely missed the lung, broke a rib, and came all the way through, and then our hard plate actually stopped that 44 Magnum. So I wish I wouldn't have done that. We're gonna have to avoid that little part of the torso when we test the hard plate, but luckily it did not hit any organs and everything is still intact. All right, so the 3A body armor actually protected the body a little bit better than I thought it would. Up until we got to the 44 Magnum, which is the highest caliber it's rated for, really nothing did very much internal damage. The 10mm looks like it would hurt, but other than that, they all stopped pretty easily. And then the 44 Magnum, of course, did quite a bit of damage to the spine. But other than that, I'm impressed. All right, before we move on to the hard plate, I have one more that I want to try on that 3A body armor, and that is 12 gauge double aught buckshot. This might hit even harder than the 44 Magnum did. Shooting it out of the Winchester 1897 trench gun. Oh yeah. And you can see where that double-aught buckshot went, right in the middle. I really made sure I wasn't gonna miss with that one because today's been a weird day. Let's take it off, and definitely got some bruises. So I still think the 44 Magnum did the most internal damage because it actually like sunk into the ballistic shell 2 or 3 inches, whereas the double-aught buckshot just has some really bad bruising. Hopefully you guys can see those marks. But yeah, no internal damage, but definitely wouldn't feel good. Again, that is a pretty thick layer of ballistic shell protecting that spine, but the 3A body armor handled the double-aught buckshot very well. Let's try the hard plate. All right, now I've got the level 3 hard plate on the front of that torso, and we know that this can stop far bigger calibers than the level 3A body armor, so we will definitely try those. But first, I wanna try the 2 or 3 that looked like they did do some internal damage on the 3A body armor, just to see how they compare and which one gives you better protection. The first one that I noticed that looked like it would suck to get shot with was the 10mm. So we'll go ahead and start with this and see how it compares to the soft body armor. Perfect. And our 10mm hit right there. It's amazing how accurate you can be when you just practice the fundamentals. Let's take this thing off and see what the backside looks like. Literally nothing. I feel a tiny little bulge, that's what she said, but it didn't even damage the backside of the plate or the inside of our plate carrier, and certainly did not do any damage to our human torso. So we quickly answered that question. The hard plate would definitely offer more internal protection and way less back face deformation than the soft body armor did. And with 3A, you are gonna feel that internally a lot more than you would with this one, at least with calibers that both of them can stop, which is what I expected, but it's nice to find out. 44 Magnum. Remember, with the 3A body armor, this is the caliber that pushed it just to the edge of failure, and we had some pretty serious internal damage. So let's see how the hard plate does. I put it right on top of the 10mm. One thing I like about having that slow-mo camera is from the side, you can see when the bullets hit the body armor, how much the internals are moving around and being affected. And so far, it looks like quite a bit less with the hard plate. So it does appear to be reducing shock a lot more than the soft body armor. Okay, so we do have a tiny little tear on the back of the plate carrier, but it still does not feel like it's bulged out hardly at all. Maybe you guys can see that, just a tiny little bump on the back of this thing, and I still think that you would probably be okay. I might have to go back and look at the footage because I do not remember seeing that fracture on the rib cage right there, or the one right here on the sternum. So those might be new from the 44 Magnum. It is exactly where that bullet hit. So we might have our first broken bone. Let's go ahead and try the 5.56. This is a big step up, and it's going a lot faster than the 44 Magnum, so I'm expecting a lot more damage. Let's see. I don't care how good the body armor is, I would never want to be on the other end of that. All right, we had one 5.56 go in right there, and then the other one went in either the same hole as the 10mm or the 44 Magnum. I'm not really sure, but if we flip it up, oh yeah. So that is definitely some back face deformation, and you can see how hard those 5.56s hit. So the first one hit right here, and you can see that big mark on the front of the ballistic shell, and then I do believe we have a couple broken ribs that were not there before. I'll check in the edit. If I'm wrong, I'll let you know, but I do think at least one of those is new, and then over here is where our other 5.56 hit, and we definitely have one more broken rib. There's a little piece in there that was not there before. So that is a screaming fast bullet, and we definitely got some internal damage from the 5.56. And by the way, I'm trying to keep all these bullets on the top half since that's where the rib cage is at, because the organs on the bottom probably wouldn't show us much. So let's get out some bigger guns. 7.62 by 39 AK-47. That one made him jiggle a little bit more. Okay, so I put two 7.62 by 39s literally in the exact same hole, which is a very tough test for any body armor. It's not designed to stop two rifle rounds in the exact same spot, so I wouldn't be surprised if something went through, honestly. Let's open it up and see what our damage is. So first of all, on the body armor, you can see how far it bulged out. It did not go through. It did stop those bullets, but it was close. And usually a 5.56 would be a tougher test than the 7.62, and you can see how much bigger the bulge is from those two AK rounds, just because I put them both in the exact same spot, which again, isn't really realistic. And we do have a broken sternum right there, definitely a big puncture wound on the front of the torso where that body armor just stabbed into this thing, but no blood, and it did actually stop those. And just to show you guys on the backside, that 7.62 by 39 did not go through, and there are no exit holes. I might shoot that caliber one more time just to show you what one AK round will do to this plate, because I definitely wasn't trying to put two in the same hole, and that's not very realistic. I think the 5.56 is harder to stop than the 7.62. Let's see. Same exact bullet, 7.62 by 39, full metal jacket. I'm gonna put this one a little bit lower. And right there is our entrance hole from the 7.62 by 39. Let's go ahead and flip it up, and you can clearly see barely even did any damage at all. It did not tear the inside of the plate carrier and just left a tiny little bulge, whereas the spot that I put two in the same hole, it really put a giant bulge. And now that I look closer, I think that is actually a smashed bullet peeking through the back, so it is just barely hanging on. But that is what this plate is supposed to do with the 7.62 by 39. Easily stopped it, and even the 5.56s did more damage. Also, nothing to the torso. All right, next up we have the 308. This is quite a bit more powerful than the 7.62 by 39 and starting to push the limits on what this level 3 plate can stop, so should be interesting. I want to see if we get any damage to our torso. I'm gonna try to put it towards the top right. I really hope it didn't go in the same hole as the 7.62s. Yep, I think that one probably went through. Once again, I put it in the exact same hole as a previous round, so we'll try again. 308, take number 2. This time I'm gonna go towards the bottom right, which is what I probably should have done the first time. I've done a lot of body armor tests, and this is the first time I've ever had multiple rounds go in the exact same hole like that. Usually I couldn't do that if I tried. It looks like our second 308 went right there, nowhere near any other bullet holes, so let's see what this one did. And as you can see, easily stopped it. That is very impressive, actually. It did not even bust open the back of the plate. And if we look at our torso, this is by far the most internal damage that we've had from any round. I think our plate carrier is starting to fall, but you can see we just completely shattered that entire rib. It's in like 50 pieces. There's little fragments down here that are even poking out of the front of the ballistic shell. It looks like that is where the bullet actually impacted. You can see just a bunch of internal damage. Broken ribs down here, looks like broken ribs up here. That 308 is no joke. But keep in mind, as bad as that looks, I would much rather have that result than a 308 just going straight through the body, because that you would probably survive and they would be able to put you back together. Without body armor, there's no chance. Well, I brought a few more guns out, but I'm running out of daylight. So before we go, we have to try an elephant gun. This is the 375 H&H Magnum, and it is a tank of a round. It's not going quite as fast as something like a 308 or a 5.56, so the penetrating power is not the same, but it does hit like 10 times harder. So I want to see what the internal damage looks like. It's got some recoil too. 375 H&H Magnum looks like it hit right there on that Velcro strap, and already from the side I can see that we have quite a bit of damage in there. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. Look at the size of that entrance hole compared to all the others. Clearly the biggest one that we've shot, and oh my God. It stopped it, but that actually is by far the biggest bulge that we had on the back of this plate. I didn't expect that because I thought velocity would be, you know, the main thing that contributed to the back face deformation, but clearly that elephant gun gave this plate all that it could handle. Holy crap. And just to look directly from the side, you can see the 375 compared to all the others. Not even close. Let's take a look at our torso. Okay, this rib cage is completely done for. We have some Premier body armor advertising on the front of the ballistics gel, but holy crap, it just shattered that entire rib cage. I mean, look at the pieces coming out of there. But it did stop it, and at least you would have a chance of surviving. Without the body armor, there's no way. And while we're on the topic, one thing I haven't really touched on today is arrhythmia of the heart. If you were to get shot with something like an elephant gun, even if the body armor stopped it, it doesn't mean you're gonna survive. The impact and the amount of shock delivered into the body would be so dramatic that it would probably stop your heart. So just something to think about. Well, I brought out the 4570 yesterday, and I never got around to it because we ran out of daylight. So we are gonna use it to finish off that human torso. This is the Henry lever action 4570. One of my favorites. I think some of that blood might be frozen. This is a frozen zombie test. There we go. All right, guys, well, it is getting dark, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you all enjoyed it. I love doing these body armor tests, and this one might have been the best so far. Of course, I wanna thank Premier Body Armor for making this video possible. Without them, I wouldn't have had the armor, the plate carrier, pretty much everything I needed to get this done. So I will put a link down below. Definitely go check them out. They have tons of cool stuff, and they're my favorite body armor company for a reason. I can't say I'm surprised by the results. Those hard plates from Premier always impress me at how bulletproof they are, but no matter what body armor you're wearing, it's gonna suck to get shot, and especially with some of those big guns, it's probably gonna break bones, and we saw that today on our human torso. He didn't do too well, but it is better than getting shot. Let me know down below what you guys think. I'd be glad to hear it. If you like this video, please hit that like button for me, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.